Imagine it is a 95-degree day in mid-July. You are sitting in your living room just sweating through your shirt and staring at a thermostat that stubbornly reads 88.
Oh, that is the absolute worst feeling.
Right. Your air conditioner is totally dead. Now, you think you're covered because you bought an extended warranty. But when you call that 1-800 number, you're trapped in an endless phone tree.
Yeah, or you finally get through only to find out you owe some hidden deductible.
Exactly. Or, your specific part just isn't covered. Or the earliest a technician can come out is like 2 weeks from Tuesday. It is just a complete nightmare scenario for any homeowner.
It really is, and it happens all the time.
Well, today is Saturday, April 4th, 2026. And we are going to look at the exact mechanics of how that industry operates by looking at a leaked internal playbook.
Which is incredibly rare. I mean, usually we only get to see the glossy marketing brochures designed to make us feel safe,
Yeah.
We never get to see the actual marching orders given to the sales staff.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have our hands on the April 2026 reference guide for a company called Hartzell's Heat and Air.
Right.
It's an internal document detailing their guidelines for selling and administering JB warranties. Reading this it's honestly like peeking behind the curtain at a magic show.
That's a great way to put it.
You finally get to see how the tricks, like the pricing structures, the
Yeah.
risk calculations, the sales psychology, how all of that actually works from the dealer's perspective.
Yeah.
It totally changes how you view a service contract.
It really does. And just to set the baseline here, JB Warranties is the absolute giant in the room. I mean, they're the nation's largest HVAC and plumbing extended service plan administrator.
The biggest of the big.
Exactly. And Hartzell's Heat and Air is one of their authorized local dealers. So when a contractor from Hartzell's installs a new water heater or central air system in your house, this internal document is the exact script they use.
It's their strategy to get you to buy that extended service agreement.
Yeah. And what's fascinating here is the very first bolded rule in their own internal guide. They explicitly train their staff to state, quote, "These are not home warranties."
I noticed that immediately. They treat the phrase home warranty like it's a dirty word.
Well, because in their industry, it basically is. They instruct their team to really emphasize that these are highly specific, equipment-based agreements.
Because a traditional home warranty is often just a huge gamble, right?
Exactly. You pay a monthly fee to cover a house full of aging, unknown appliances. And when your 12-year-old dishwasher breaks, the warranty company often looks for any loophole in the fine print to deny the claim.
Or they send out, like, the absolute cheapest subcontractor they can find.
Right. And Hartzell's draws a hard line against that kind of mystery coverage. They only cover the specific brand new unit they just installed, which establishes a completely different baseline of trust with the consumer.
So let's look at the actual features they're training their staff to push. Because, looking at the document, it lays out a model that sounds, well, almost too good to be true from a consumer standpoint.
It really does sound surprisingly generous.
Yeah, it's a one-time cost paid at installation. There are no annual renewals, no surprise premium hikes year after year, 0 deductibles.
Meaning, when a covered breakdown happens, the customer pays absolutely nothing out of pocket.
Nothing. And they cover all the massive brands. Trane, Carrier, Mitsubishi, Climate Master. They even brag internally about a 14-day turnaround time for claims payments.
Which is huge. I mean, 14 days in the contracting world is practically light speed. Most third-party administrators string dealers along for 30 to 60 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and that massive delay makes the local contractor hesitant to even do the warranty work in the first place.
But wait, I have to stop you there and just play the role of the skeptical homeowner for a second.
Sure, go for it.
If I just dropped 10 grand on a brand new Trane HVAC system, the manufacturer already gives me a factory warranty. Trane covers their own parts. So why on earth is this contractor trying to sell me a JB Warranties plan?
You feel like you're paying twice.
Yeah, it feels like double dipping. Why would I pay for coverage I already have?
That is the ultimate consumer objection, and the internal guide actually dedicates specific language to countering it. It all comes down to the timeline. There is 0 double dipping happening here.
Okay, so how does it work then?
Well, the guide explains that the parts coverage from JB Warranties doesn't even activate until the manufacturer's warranty completely expires.
Oh, I see. So I'm essentially just prepaying for a future safety net.
Think of it like a relay race. Let's say your factory warranty covers parts for the first 5 years. The manufacturer runs the first leg of the race.
Right.
The absolute second they hand off the baton at the end of year 5, the JB Warranties plan grabs it and runs the next leg. It extends your coverage for years 6 through 10.
Oh, wow. So as the homeowner, you experience continuous, uninterrupted coverage from the day of installation until the end of that extended term.
Exactly. And there is a massive psychological pivot they train their sales staff to use right here. The plan includes a free, frictionless transfer to new homeowners if you sell the house.
That part really stuck out to me. It's turning a grudge purchase to a tangible real estate asset.
It's brilliant framing because, let's be honest, nobody wakes up excited to buy a warranty. You buy it out of pure anxiety that a machine is going to break.
Yeah, it's just disaster insurance.
Right. But if you sell your home in year 7 of a 10-year plan, you physically hand the new buyer a certificate proving the central air is fully covered with 0 deductibles for 3 more years.
In a competitive housing market, that actually gives the seller serious leverage. I mean, it completely offsets a home inspector's concerns about an aging HVAC system.
It really does. It's a huge selling point.
Now we need to look at how Hartzell's actually tailors this coverage. Because I just assumed this was, a blanket one-size-fits-all policy, just sign here and you're covered.
Most people do assume that.
But looking at page 3 of the document, they actually have 4 distinct tiers of coverage. It's like an entire menu.
Yeah, they break it down very specifically.
You have Parts and Labor Plus, which covers parts, labor, refrigerant, and diagnostic fees. Then there's Labor Plus, which drops the full parts coverage but keeps labor and refrigerant.
Right.
Then Labor Only. And finally Parts Only, which they flag is a pretty rare commercial use case. Now, my initial cynical thought was, well, they want the staff to upsell the most expensive, comprehensive tier every single time.
Sure, that would be the standard corporate move.
Exactly. But the guide actively advises against that.
They absolutely do. Selling the most expensive tier for every single piece of equipment would actually make them look foolish and lose them sales.
It totally reminds me of buying car insurance. You don't buy premium full collision coverage on a $500 rusted-out sedan.
No, you definitely don't.
And you wouldn't get state minimum liability on a brand-new Ferrari either. You match the insurance policy to the specific physical and financial risk of the machine. Hartzell's is applying that exact same logic to HVAC equipment.
And we can see that perfectly illustrated in how they handle water heaters. Let's look at the Bradford White example in the text.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bradford White is a contractor-only brand. You can't just walk into a big box hardware store and buy one off the shelf. The tank itself comes from the factory with a really robust 6-year parts warranty.
Because water heaters are relatively simple machines compared to, say, an air conditioner.
Right. When they fail, it's usually just sediment buildup destroying the heating elements, or maybe the anode rod depleting, which eventually causes the tank to leak.
So the part itself is covered for over half a decade anyway.
Exactly. If the tank fails in year 4, the factory provides a brand new tank for free. Your financial risk as a homeowner isn't the physical tank itself. Your risk is the plumber.
Because labor's expensive.
Incredibly expensive. Plumbers charge anywhere from $150 to $300 an hour just to show up, and then they have to drain the old tank, disconnect the gas lines, and install the new one.
So the internal guide tells the staff to pitch a 10-year labor-only plan for $329.
Yes.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
So the homeowner pays $329 once, and their labor risk is essentially erased for a decade.
It perfectly bridges the gap. Water heaters typically fail right around the 10 to 15-year mark.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
By pairing the 6-year factory parts warranty with a 10-year labor-only plan, you cover the exact window where the homeowner is financially vulnerable. And you do it without making them overpay for parts coverage they already have from Bradford White.
That's a really smart allocation of risk.
They do the exact same thing with certain Mitsubishi ductless units, which come with a massive 12-year factory parts warranty. Pitching a full parts and labor plan there would be completely redundant.
Right. So Labor Plus becomes the highly strategic choice there.
Exactly.
But it requires the sales technician to actually understand the overlapping timelines of factory warranties versus localized labor rates.
It requires real expertise, yeah.
So we just broke down the strategy for a relatively simple water heater. But let's look at the heavyweights. The systems where a breakdown doesn't just mean a cold shower, but a massive financial crisis.
The big ticket items.
Right. The guide dedicates a huge amount of space to heat pumps and geothermal systems.
Well, the stakes are significantly higher there because of how these machines operate.
Let's start with heat pumps. The document explicitly reminds the staff that heat pumps run drastically harder than a traditional straight cooling AC unit.
Because of a component called a reversing valve.
Right. A heat pump operates 365 days a year. It pumps heat out of your house in the summer, and it pumps ambient heat into your house in the winter.
So it literally never gets a season off.
Never. So the wear and tear on the compressor is immense.
And, I mean, a compressor is essentially the heart of the entire system. When it dies, the whole system dies.
And the internal guide arms the sales staff with the terrifying reality of that repair cost. A single compressor replacement on a modern heat pump runs between $1,500 and $2,500.
That is a brutal repair bill.
So Hartzell's prices the 10-year Parts and Label Plus plan at $995. It's a highly calculated pitch. They're saying, buy this plan for under $1,000 today because the mathematical probability of a $2,000 repair over the next decade is incredibly high.
Especially on a machine that runs every single day.
Exactly. It pays for itself the very first time the unit breaks.
And if you think a heat pump is high stakes, you really have to look at the section on geothermal systems.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The financial risk on a geothermal system is just staggering.
Truly staggering.
The document notes these systems cost anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000 to install. But why are they so complex? Why is a 10-year plan for a geothermal rig priced at over $1,400?
Well, because a geothermal system, or a ground source heat pump, isn't just a metal box sitting on a concrete pad in your backyard.
Right, it's way more involved.
These systems literally tap into the constant 55-degree temperature of the Earth itself. To do that, contractors have to drill deep boreholes or excavate massive trenches in your yard to bury hundreds of feet of high-density piping.
Just ripping up the whole lawn?
Yeah, and then they circulate water or an antifreeze solution through those underground loops to exchange heat with the Earth.
So you are dealing with plumbing, underground excavation, complex refrigeration cycles, and high-voltage electrical components all communicating with each other simultaneously.
Exactly. And when something goes wrong, say a leak in the underground ground loop or a failure in the massive internal heat exchanger, you are looking at repair bills that can easily hit $4,000 just for the parts.
Good grief, $4,000.
But there is a tiny nuanced detail in this guide regarding geothermal that absolutely blew my mind.
Is it the certifications they mentioned?
Yes. The internal guide forcefully instructs the staff to highlight two specific credentials to the customer. Their IGSHPA certification, which stands for the International Ground Source Heat Pump Association, and their status as a Climate Master GeoElite dealer.
Why is that so critical?
I cannot stress enough how crucial this is. Most massive national warranty conglomerates flat out refuse to cover geothermal systems. Or if they do, they fail miserably at actually servicing them.
Because they can't find anyone who actually knows how to fix the underground loops.
Precisely. You can't just dispatch a random guy in a van with a wrench to fix a geothermal loop. It is a hyper-specialized engineering skill.
Right. It's not just changing a filter.
No, not at all. So when a homeowner files a JB Warranties claim on a geothermal unit installed by Hartzell's, JB Warranties isn't frantically searching a directory for a subcontractor.
And Hartzell's isn't just shuffling the paperwork around.
Exactly. Because of those IGSHPA certifications, Hartzell's has the localized training, the earth-moving equipment, and the direct parts access to execute the repair themselves. They are the actual experts driving out to your house.
That completely shifts the dynamic. They're essentially leveraging their own specialized workforce to make the warranty inherently more reliable than anything you could buy online from a third party.
It's a huge competitive advantage.
But this brings us to the actual psychology of the sale. We know the mechanics of the machines and the risk profiles now. But how does this company train its people to pitch this financial product to you, the consumer?
The internal playbook is incredibly candid in this section.
It really is. Under the header, How to Present JBW to Customers, the script directs staff to present the plan at the very beginning during the estimate phase.
Which is really smart.
Yeah, they are told never to wait until the end of the installation when the homeowner's already suffering from sticker shock.
Yeah.
And the rule is absolute. Always offer the 10-year plan first.
Always start at the top.
They even partner with a service called JB Fin, allowing homeowners with a credit score of 590 or above to finance the warranty completely separately from the HVAC equipment.
Making it as easy as possible to say yes.
But there is one sentence in this document that really jumps off the page. It's a very blunt warning to the sales staff. It says, quote, "It's easy money left on the table when you don't ask."
That phrase, easy money, is pretty jarring to read as a consumer.
It sounds incredibly predatory at first glance, right? It's the ultimate corporate upselling language. Are they just gouging homeowners to pad their bottom line?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the easy money line is definitely a corporate motivator for the sales team. They obviously wouldn't sell the warranty if it wasn't a profitable revenue stream.
Right, still a business.
But we have to look at the friction they are removing for the consumer to justify that profit. There is a massive human element hidden inside their claims process that traditional warranties completely lack.
Oh, I noticed that in the section about ductless mini splits. The guide casually shouts out a specific employee. It says, "Shelby handles Mitsubishi registration on all installs."
That is the perfect example. Navigating original equipment manufacturer registrations is an absolute nightmare.
I can only imagine.
If you type one serial number wrong on their website, your factory coverage might be halved. But Heart Cells has a dedicated human being in their back office, Shelby, ensuring the customer gets the absolute maximum factory coverage registered before the extended warranty even needs to kick in.
So, despite the easy money corporate speak, it is actually a highly localized human process.
Think about the friction of a breakdown. When your AC dies in July, the absolute last thing you want to do is navigate a clunky web portal or sit on hold with a massive call center at 855-742-5522. Ugh. Just hearing a toll-free number gives me anxiety. You know you are going to be transferred 3 times and then mysteriously disconnected.
Right. But the document explicitly states that Hartzell's initiates the warranty claims on the customer's behalf. We handle it, the guide says.
So you just call the local company that installed it?
Yes. You call them, and they handle the corporate bureaucracy for you. Compare that to manufacturer extended warranties. The guide actually uses Trane's own in-house extended program as an example of what to avoid.
Really? Why avoid the manufacturer's own program?
Because OEM warranties often have aggressive limitations. They might cover a shattered fan blade, but exclude the labor. Or they might exclude the refrigerant. And if you have a leak, replacing R410A refrigerant can cost over $1,000 on its own.
Wow. And worse, with a standard manufacturer's warranty, you are totally left at the mercy of whatever unknown, lowest bidding technician the 800 number decides to dispatch to your house. You have zero control over who is walking through your front door. Exactly. But JB warranties, when routed specifically through an authorized installing dealer like Heart Cells, deliver something completely different. You bought the machine from them. They know the ductwork.
They know the installation history.
They know the quirks of your home. When it breaks 3 years later, the exact same specialized team who installed it comes back to fix it. You aren't just buying a piece of paper with fine print.
You are essentially prepaying for a guaranteed relationship.
That's exactly what it is. You are securing priority access to a local expert who is highly motivated to keep your specific system running because their own reputation is tied to the original installation.
So what does this all mean? When we pull back from the technical jargon and the pricing tiers of this leaked internal document, it completely reframes how we should view home service contracts.
It really changes the whole paradigm.
The true value of a well-structured extended warranty isn't just blind coverage of nuts and bolts. It is the strategic matching of your specific financial risk to the machinery you own. Knowing that a water heater requires labor protection, while a massive geothermal rig requires complete, comprehensive coverage.
Right.
And perhaps more importantly, the value is the peace of mind that comes from a continuous, localized relationship. It is knowing there is a Shelby in the back office handling your registration and a certified technician ready to bypass the 1-800 number headache when things go horribly wrong in the middle of a heat wave.
This raises an important question, something for you to think about long after we sign off today. We have just seen how a local HVAC company uses a targeted warranty to monetize and guarantee a frictionless human relationship with their customers.
Yep.
If the ultimate value of a complex service isn't the financial math, but rather the elimination of bureaucratic nightmares, how might this relationship as a service model disrupt other massive industries?
Oh, that's a fascinating thought.
Think about the tech sector or automotive repairs or even healthcare, industries that still aggressively rely on anonymous third-party call centers, endless phone trees, and automated chatbots for their customer care. If a local heating and air company can figure out how to successfully deliver a guaranteed human relationship, who is going to be next?
That is a phenomenal thought to leave on. Thank you for joining us as we peek behind the curtain today. Keep asking questions, always look at the fine print, and never stop challenging the systems and services that run your world. We'll catch you next time.